Hello, welcome to Unlocking Buddhism. We begin this shared moment by simply allowing ourselves to settle. Take a gentle breath and let your awareness rest in the quiet of your own being. Let the hurried thoughts of the day recede like ripples on a calm lake, leaving behind a profound stillness. It is within this stillness that we can begin to observe. As we look inward, we may notice a subtle undercurrent that pervades our days, a persistent sense of striving, a quiet tension, an unseen conflict. It is not always dramatic, but often a gentle, unwavering friction with the way things are. This sensation, familiar to many, manifests as resistance to circumstances, a longing for things to be different, or an internal debate with the present moment. Despite its persistence, it often remains unexamined, blending into daily life as if immutable. We might call it the natural challenge of life, or the inevitable push and pull of external forces. Yet what if this interpretation conceals a deeper truth? Tonight, we open space for a different inquiry. We invite a gentle curiosity to explore the nature of this inner struggle. Could the source of this hidden conflict be not in the world outside, but within the landscape of our own minds? This is not to dismiss real difficulties, but to shift perspective. Consider a different origin for the unease we carry. We tend to perceive the world as objective facts, external events, independent entities. Yet between those events and our experience lies a profound process, perception itself. Through this lens, reality is filtered, interpreted, and given meaning. Within that filtering are mental constructs, frameworks, stories, expectations, judgments our minds impose on raw experience. They are like transparent veils, woven from past experience, belief, desire, and fear, coloring everything we see and feel. This reflection invites a question. Could this unseen conflict be less about a flaw in reality and more about the interplay between our expectations and life's unfolding? Might our discomfort arise not from a situation's nature, but from internal constructs clashing with it? This is a gentle invitation, not a forceful claim, to look inward with discernment, to consider that our experience of reality is shaped, perhaps co-created, by the mental narratives we unknowingly fashion. As we embark on this exploration, we do not seek to blame or judge, but to observe with compassionate awareness. We cultivate a space to disentangle direct experience from the layers of interpretation and expectation our minds apply. This path offers not escape from reality, but a deeper, more harmonious engagement with it. By understanding the architecture of our perception and noticing these subtle constructs, we may discover an inner freedom, a way to navigate life's currents with greater equanimity and peace. Let this contemplation settle within you, igniting a quiet curiosity for the journey ahead into the heart of your own experience. In our previous reflection, we began to inquire into the subtle undercurrent of inner struggle, sensing its source not in the external world, but in the workings of our own minds. We considered how perception filters experience, weaving mental constructs, frameworks, stories, expectations that color reality. Building on that inquiry, we now examine how the mind, through distorted interpretations and attachments to fleeting notions like youth or external validation, becomes a primary source of suffering. This block illuminates the mind's agency in shaping experience. Let us settle, allow the breath to deepen, and invite a gentle stillness. With quiet attention, we see how the mind, in ceaseless activity, can create the conditions for discontent. Imagine the mind as a river. When unimpeded, clear and serene, it nourishes all it touches. When turbulent and clogged with debris, its waters cloud and agitate, causing distress. Likewise, when entangled in patterns of thought and attachment, the mind generates unease even amid pleasant circumstances. Consider how we interpret events. We encounter a word, a sensation, an action. Then the mind labels, judges, categorizes, compares. This process helps us navigate the world, yet suffering arises when interpretations harden into fixed personal truths that ignore impermanence. If we take a critical comment as an assault on our worth rather than another's perspective, we construct a narrative of hurt. The external event is neutral. Our framing ignites suffering. These interpretive habits run silently in the background. We rarely pause to question them. The mind also clings to fleeting notions, mistaking them for lasting sources of happiness. Take youth. Celebrated as vitality and beauty, it becomes a measure of worth when the mind identifies with it. Aging then appears as loss, each wrinkle or silver hair felt as diminishment rather than natural unfolding. Attachment to a temporary condition faced with inevitable change breeds anxiety and sorrow. Similarly, external validation becomes a fragile foundation. Praise lifts temporarily. Criticism plunges us into doubt. When the mind depends on others' opinions, inner stability sways with social currents and peace is relinquished to shifting sands. The deeper insight is that external circumstances rarely cause suffering on their own. Rather, our engagement, interpretations, judgments, attachments, resistance to impermanence transforms events into pain. The mind that constructs meaning also constructs suffering. It can create peace as readily as anguish. This realization is not despairing, but empowering. Understanding the mind's role lets us shift our relationship to thoughts and feelings. Mental constructs are not fixed realities, but patterns to observe, understand, and transform. We need not be prisoners of habitual reactions. We can become mindful observers who learn to guide the flow. Begin by gently observing interpretive tendencies. When a challenge arises, pause before reacting. Notice the thoughts. What stories is the mind telling? What judgments form? Are you clinging to an unmet expectation? Observe without judgment. This noticing creates a space between event and reaction, where wisdom can arise. Watch thoughts like clouds crossing the sky, neither stopping them nor becoming them, simply witnessing their passing. Allow interpretations to arise and fall without grasping them or treating them as absolute. Cultivate an appreciation of impermanence, youth, beauty, success, life, transient phenomena. Embracing this truth loosens attachments. We can admire a flower's bloom without clinging to its duration and cherish joy without demanding permanence. Experiences are like ocean waves, rising and falling. This understanding helps release the mind's grip on fixed expectations, allowing change to be met with quiet acceptance. When the mind stops fighting life's flow, it finds deeper ease and freedom. Thus, the path to lessening suffering begins with clear, compassionate observation of the mind, recognizing our constructs, spotting attachments, and embracing impermanence. Through sustained, gentle inquiry, we untangle self-imposed knots, letting the mind return to clarity, calm, and spaciousness. The journey is not erasing thoughts or feelings, but transforming our relation to them, cultivating wisdom to navigate life's currents with equanimity and abiding inner peace. Let this understanding resonate, inviting mindful exploration and gentle compassion for your inner landscape as we continue inward toward liberation through discerning awareness. Yet this agitation, though it feels profound, often stays on the surface of our awareness. Like ripples stirred by a breeze, they distort the mirrored image while the deep water beneath remains essentially untouched. Discern the transient surface commotion from the enduring depth. When life's winds, demanding tasks, criticisms, desire, or loss, gust, we tend to identify with the agitated surface, perceiving ourselves as the turbulence. This identification fuels unease by making us forget the unwavering stillness beneath. Consider these winds, circumstances, phenomena arising and passing, impersonal like actual wind that is neither kind nor cruel. Yet our habitual patterns, interpretations, judgments, attachments, respond with personal engagement. We do not simply observe the wind, we feel its chill, fear it will uproot our narratives, resist its force, or cling to moments of calm. This resistance to the natural ebb magnifies the surface disturbance. A harsh word is a sound vibration, but the conditioned mind may treat it as an attack on self-worth. That interpretation is like a stone dropped into the lake, sending ripples of anger, hurt, or defensiveness. The initial wind was the word. The storm is our reaction and its narrative of grievance. Faced with change, the mind clings to the familiar stirring anxiety and resistance, often more turmoil than the change itself warrants. Desire for things to conform to our preferences is a constant source of turbulence. Navigating these winds begins not by controlling the weather, which we cannot, but by transforming our relationship to it. We cannot stop the wind, but we can learn not to become it or be swept away. We can observe its passage without adding resistance or attachment. This observation is a gentle turn inward, a deliberate shift of attention from the chaotic surface to the stillness within. Begin by simply noticing. When a challenge arises, pause before reacting. Feel sensations in your body. Acknowledge the thoughts that surge. Is there tightness, unease, fear? Are stories forming, judgments cast? Notice them not as who you are, but as phenomena on the surface of your mental lake. Do not grasp or push them away. Observe with the gentle curiosity of watching clouds cross the sky. They are temporary and will pass. This non-identification is key. We are not our thoughts or emotions. They arise within the vast expanse of awareness. Mistaken identity with ripples obscures the clear waters beneath. Maintain a gentle distance, witness without entanglement, and you reconnect with deeper stillness. It is like standing on the shore, watching waves without leaping into them. Their power is evident, but the stable ground offers a calm perspective. As you practice, you cultivate space between the external event, the wind, and your internal reaction, the ripples. In that space, wisdom emerges. The capacity for calm reflection is always present, an inherent quality of being, like the deep lake retaining stillness despite surface agitation. It is not something to fabricate, but to uncover by letting disturbances settle. Over time, the mental lake returns to clarity. Winds still stir the surface, yet agitation penetrates less deeply. Our reflection of reality becomes less distorted, revealing things more clearly rather than through fear, desire, or judgment. This clarity fosters peace and equanimity. External events may be beyond control, but our internal response is within our influence. The journey is not to attain an impenetrable stillness where winds never blow, life is dynamic, but to develop resilience to navigate changes with grace, allowing ripples to form and subside without being swept away. Understand that our fundamental nature is like the deep, clear lake, vast, calm, luminous, capable of reflecting the world with clarity when the surface rests. This realization does not escape life, but deepens our engagement with it, letting us meet each moment with an open heart and steady mind. Let this understanding permeate your awareness, guiding you toward inner quietude and compassionate presence as we continue to explore the landscape of our minds. The challenge is not to eliminate surface disturbances, for existence is always in flux, but to shift our gaze and perceive beyond transient agitation. It invites us to recognize that beneath the choppiness, a profound calm resides, untouched and undisturbed. This deeper stillness is our true nature, a spacious awareness that remains whole and luminous regardless of the swirling currents above. It is not a state to be achieved, but a reality to be unveiled. When we mistake the surface for the whole, we lose sight of this intrinsic peace and become entangled in the temporary dance of arising and passing phenomena. Our task is a gentle turning inward, a remembering of what has always been present. Consider the lake, the winds of life, circumstances, interactions, desire, loss, stir the surface, creating waves, small ripples or significant swells. These are daily experiences, perceptions, and reactions that naturally arise. If we identify solely with these waves, believing ourselves nothing more than crests and troughs, we are vulnerable to their motion. We forget the vast body of water beneath, the depth utterly unaffected by the surface. That deeper water is the essence of our being, unmoving, pure, infinitely spacious. This realization brings liberation. Peace is not contingent on external conditions nor something others can take. It is inherent and accessible. Practice becomes reorientation. Instead of battling winds or smoothing the lake's surface, futile and exhausting, we direct attention to the calm depths. This is not withdrawal from life, but deeper engagement, an ability to experience existence's fullness without being overwhelmed by its fluctuations. When a strong emotion arises, anger, fear, frustration, habit may be to immerse in it, to become the emotion, to let it dictate action. The lake invites a different approach. When emotion stirs, we can acknowledge the agitation and consciously shift awareness to the underlying stillness. We observe the emotion as phenomenon on consciousness's surface, knowing that beneath it, a quiet expanse remains. Observing rather than identifying creates a subtle distance, a space in which wisdom can emerge. This is discernment between transient and enduring. Thoughts, feelings, sensations are ripples, impermanent. The awareness that perceives them is like the deep lake, vast, stable, unwavering. Resting in this awareness is not denial of experience, but recognition of their true nature as fleeting expressions within boundless calm. Cultivating inner stillness begins with simple, consistent attention. Sit each day, perhaps upon waking or before sleep. Close your eyes and follow the breath, its rise and fall, the cool and warmth. Allow thoughts and sensations to be without judgment. They are clouds passing in the sky, observed, not pursued. When attention strays, gently return to the breath without reproach. This is not emptying the mind. Thought arises by nature, but changing our relationship to it, becoming observer rather than constant participant. Through gentle observation, we discover an inner landscape far grander and more tranquil than habitual thoughts and emotions. Over time, this practice brings equanimity. Winds still blow and ripples form, but our foundation is the deep, undisturbed calm. We are less swayed by external events because our anchor is within. True peace is not absence of trouble, but presence of unwavering stillness amidst storm. This yields resilience and quiet strength to meet each moment with an open heart and steady mind. Thus, the journey to inner stillness is a return to the authentic self, a remembering of inherent tranquility. It is a path of gentle awareness, compassionate observation, and trust in the clear lake of our being. Even when life's surface is agitated, the deep, luminous calm within remains accessible, a sanctuary of peace in a world of change. May this reflection guide you toward that profound stillness, nurturing a tranquil presence in every moment. The understanding deepens as we recognize that internal discord, this friction with life's flow, is not merely the result of external events, but a direct manifestation of the mind's interpretations. The mind, trying to make sense of the world, constructs an architecture of expectations, desires, and judgments that, when misaligned with unfolding reality, breeds dissonance. This dissonance becomes the soil in which suffering grows, not because reality is inherently painful, but because our mental frameworks resist its spontaneous changing nature. Observe with quiet attention how the mind builds these frameworks. We see an object, hear a sound, encounter a situation, and almost imperceptibly the mind labels, categorizes, compares, and ties these raw experiences to memories, hopes, and beliefs. This process is automatic, a way we navigate the world. Yet when these constructs harden, when we cling to them as absolute, they block our ability to perceive reality directly, in its unadorned form. Imagine a landscape seen through stained glass. The glass adds colors and patterns that alter, perhaps obscure, the view. Our frameworks, while offering order, can distort perception and prevent the fresh, unmediated experience of each moment. This distortion shows itself as clinging. We cling to pleasant experiences, wishing them to last, and resist unpleasant ones, hoping they vanish. We attach to identities, roles, opinions, treating them as immutable. But all phenomena are impermanent. They arise, abide briefly, and pass. Clinging to the fleeting invites collision with impermanence's law. The pain we feel is not caused by change itself, but by our refusal to let go. Youth fades, loved ones die, projects end. Natural events met with suffering only because the mind insists things be otherwise. Consider the weather. If we cling to a sunny day, a sudden downpour brings frustration. The rain is neutral. Our attachment to sunshine creates the disturbance. The rain does not cause suffering, our resistance does. This subtle distinction reveals the mind's role in shaping feelings, turning neutral events into distress or ease depending on its lens. The mind also holds deep narratives about who we are and how life should unfold. These stories serve as blueprints for experience. When reality deviates, the mind sees a breach, an injustice, a failure, a threat to self-worth. A temporary setback becomes catastrophic when it contradicts a story demanding constant success. The external event is small. The mind's interpretation makes it large. Practice is not about stopping the mind from interpreting. Interpretation is its nature, but about cultivating discerning awareness of its processes. We learn to observe expectations, judgments, attachments, and narratives not as truths, but as transient constructions. This observation is gentle and curious, free of self-criticism. By witnessing these processes, we create space between raw experience and reaction. In that space, wisdom can arise, allowing responses rooted in awareness rather than habit. Such awareness loosens attachment's grip. Seeing the impermanence of thoughts and feelings reduces our clinging. We can enjoy beauty without demanding permanence, taste joy without fearing its end, meet challenge without resistance. Life becomes a deeper, more authentic engagement, each moment met with an open heart and spacious mind, freed from fixed expectations. Thus, the journey of seeing the mind as architect of experience is a path toward liberation from self-imposed suffering. It shows that inner peace depends less on circumstance than on the clarity with which we perceive and respond. By gently observing the mind's constructions, recognizing clinging's illusion, and embracing impermanence's flow, we begin to dismantle suffering's architecture and reveal the peace beneath. May this reflection guide you toward clearer perception, kinder presence, and enduring ease. Our path now illuminates the practice of correct vision, or samadhi, a clarity that reaches beyond the superficial to the heart of reality. It is not mere intellectual grasp, but an intuitive knowing that alters our relationship with existence. To see things as they truly are, impermanent, interconnected, and without a separate, enduring self, dissolves subtle roots of suffering and cultivates a peace unshaken by change. We come to realize suffering does not originate in the world, but in the ignorant perceptions that set us against reality. Correct vision is an inward turning of the gaze. Instead of looking outward for solutions or blaming circumstances, we examine the lens through which we perceive. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean. Without correct vision, we see only waves crashing and mistake each for a separate entity, clinging to one and grieving when it breaks. With correct vision, we see beyond each crest to the vast, interconnected body of water from which waves arise and into which they dissolve. The wave is not separate. It arises and returns. This shifts us from anxiety to contemplation of boundless nature. In life, correct vision lets us see beyond transient forms, events, emotions, thoughts, even the body, to the processes of arising and passing. Joy, sadness, anger, pain are waves on the ocean of consciousness. They arise, abide, and pass. Clinging to pleasant experiences or resisting unpleasant ones is like trying to grasp a wave or hold back the tide. The struggle breeds suffering. Correct vision loosens that grip, allowing experience to flow without identification or resistance. We witness coming and going with calm, discerning awareness, knowing their nature is temporary. Correct vision also reveals interconnectedness. Nothing exists in isolation. Our actions, thoughts, and words ripple outward. We are shaped by the air we breathe, the food we eat, the people we meet, the traditions we inherit. This understanding dismantles the illusion of a separate self. Seeing ourselves as isolated narrows perspective, prioritizes desire, and defends arbitrary boundaries, leading to conflict and alienation. Correct vision expands selfhood, revealing our connection to all beings and phenomena. It fosters compassion, empathy, and responsibility, for others' welfare is linked to our own. As us versus them dissolves, underlying tension eases. Samadhi is not intellectualizing these truths, but integrating them through mindful observation. When a strong emotion arises, pause and observe. Where does it manifest in the body? How does it feel? Does it have duration? Even intense states are impermanent. They arise, intensify, and subside. In interactions, notice cause and effect. How do your words land? How do expressions shift? What motivations move beneath the surface? Through gentle, persistent attention, impermanence and interconnectedness stop being abstractions and become lived truths. This clarity frees us from the misconception that lasting peace comes from manipulating circumstances or grasping fleeting pleasures. True peace lies in aligning with reality's flow, embracing impermanence, and recognizing deep interconnection. When perception is clouded by ignorance, we see fragmentation and permanence where there is flow and relation, creating pervasive unease. Cultivating correct vision dismantles the mind's architecture of suffering. desire for things to be otherwise, attachment to outcomes, and resistance to change loosen as we see them for what they are, products of misperception. We cease spinning between craving and aversion and nurture acceptance and equanimity. This is not passivity or indifference. It is responding to life with wisdom and compassion, freed from reactive patterns. The path of correct vision is continual refinement, a gentle unveiling of a truth long present, a homecoming to the peace within that blossoms when perception aligns with reality. May this understanding guide your gaze toward clarity, compassion, and stillness. The essence of this practice is a humble, introspective gaze, cultivating mindful observation of our mental reactions as they arise. Rather than being swept away by irritation, the cloak of frustration, or the sting of fear, we pause. In that pause, we turn inward, letting a discerning light illuminate the subtle movements of the mind. We ask, with sincere curiosity, where these feelings come from. Are they born of the external event, or echoes of our inner landscape? Do we construct expectations about how life should unfold, or cling to an unspoken blueprint of how things ought to be? This introspection is delicate, without self-judgment. It invites us to witness, to observe without entanglement, the narratives our minds weave. When irritation arises, we may notice a tightness in the chest, a quickened breath, and thoughts that blame, resist, or complain. Instead of identifying with these thoughts, we step back and watch them as transient. We ask, is this irritation a response to a genuine threat, or resistance to circumstance that conflicts with comfort or convenience? Is there an unspoken expectation that things should always be smooth, pleasant, or conform to our desires? When frustration settles, observe its texture and companions. A dull ache in the shoulders, a clenching jaw, thoughts of obstacles or unfairness. Gently inquire, what expectation is being thwarted? Are we clinging to a specific outcome, timeline, or method? Is the frustration caused by the obstacle itself, or by our insistence that the path be otherwise? This reveals that frustration often arises from internal resistance, not from the challenge. When fear grips us, bring the same awareness to its signs, a tremor, a racing heart, a cascade of anxious projections. Ask, is this fear a response to immediate danger, or a mind constructing future narratives of loss, pain, or failure? Are we clinging to security, control, or predictability, things inherently impermanent? The mind, trying to protect us, projects fears into the unknown, creating anxieties about what might be, rather than resting in what is. Observing these projections loosens their hold. Through such observation, we unravel how the mind forms patterns of resistance and attachment. We see that much suffering is not a quality of reality, but a consequence of expectations, desires, and judgments clashing with the simple truth of what is. This is not dismaying, it is empowering. It shows that inner peace arises not from controlling the world, but from cultivating a discerning, compassionate relationship with our experience. Having observed these movements, the practice invites acceptance of inevitable realities with humility. This acceptance is not passive resignation, but active engagement with impermanence, the recognition that some things are beyond control, and resisting them amplifies distress. Like a tree that bends with the wind, we learn to meet life's currents with yielding wisdom. To accept is to acknowledge change, loss, and unpredictability. That people will not always act as we wish. Circumstances will diverge from our preferences, and our bodies and minds will age. Acceptance is not liking these facts, but recognizing them and allowing them without extra resistance. Resistance burdens, acceptance lightens. This humility cultivates spaciousness, releasing the grip of control. Imagine holding sand. Squeeze it and it slips. Hold it gently and it stays. Clinging breeds suffering. Humble acceptance brings ease. The practice extends to cultivating kindness without ego. Observing our patterns reveals a shared human tendency to resist and cling, which fosters compassion for ourselves and others. Kindness then flows not from seeking praise or superiority, but from understanding common struggles. It acknowledges imperfections without judgment. Kindness without ego means offering support, listening without rushing to fix, and helping without attachment to outcome or expectation of return. It arises when we are less entangled in mental constructs, and the ego's demands loosen. This gentle path, observing reactions, questioning origins, accepting with humility, practicing ego-free kindness, is a journey toward liberation. It gradually dismantles the architecture of suffering built by resistance and attachment. As we become adept at witnessing inner movements, a deep peace emerges, not fleeting, but abiding, born of clear, compassionate understanding. This quiet wisdom aligns us with the natural flow of existence, allowing life to unfold without constant inner strife and guiding a more harmonious engagement with each moment. The cultivation of inner quietude, tended through a mindful gaze upon the lake of our minds, extends its gentle influence beyond individual experience. As ripples of agitation settle and the depths reveal themselves, a clear stillness emerges and naturally radiates outward. This is not projection, but an authentic emanation. Like a calm lake reflecting the sky with clarity, it shows our interconnectedness. A subtle transformation within one being can gently touch the world. Wisdom and compassion cultivated inside stop being confined and become a silent presence that shifts the tone of our interactions and environments. This is not merely an idea to be grasped, but an experience to be felt. When our minds are turbulent, entangled in resistance, judgment, or attachment, that state shows in our words, gestures, and unspoken presence. We speak hastily, act with impatience, carry a tense air others perceive. Conversely, when we rest in inner peace, grounded in spacious awareness, our interactions change. Words become considered, actions deliberate, presence calming. Inner peace transforms us into vessels of tranquility, naturally offering solace to others. Imagine a still pond in a forest. It does not try to calm the animals that drink, nor strive to mirror the trees. Its stillness simply creates peace, and its unblemished surface offers a clear reflection. Likewise, a mind cultivated in stillness need not preach. Its sustained tranquility invites others toward calm. This influence is persuasive, not forceful, invitational, not demanding. It demonstrates, without words, how to face life's challenges with equanimity and an open heart. This radiance appears in many ways. Meeting others with a mind free of preconceptions creates space for acceptance. The other feels heard, seen, valued, not through performance, but by unburdened presence. Empathy deepens because we are no longer lost in our own narratives, allowing genuine connection with another's experience. We grow less reactive to perceived slights, responding with wisdom rather than reflexive defensiveness. Such shifts break cycles of conflict and foster greater harmony and understanding. Observing the architecture of mind, recognizing impermanence and the self-made nature of much suffering, cultivates a compassionate stance. Seeing others caught in their mental constructs, striving and clinging, awakens gentle understanding rather than judgment. This is not pity, but recognition of shared humanity and a sincere wish for release from burdens. Such authentic compassion, unconditioned by gain or expectation, becomes a force for good, guiding actions that uplift and heal. Sustaining the mind with wisdom and compassion thus becomes profound social contribution, a quiet revolution that transforms the individual from within and reverberates outward. Each moment of stillness, each discerning observation, each gentle letting go adds to a collective reservoir of peace. This is the Bodhisattva's path, not in grand gestures, but in steady cultivation of an awakened mind that by its nature becomes a source of light and comfort. Even the smallest internal shift holds potential for expansive change. As we close this reflection, hold this image, your mind as a tranquil lake, able to reflect the entire sky. The surface may be stirred by life's winds, but beneath lies immeasurable depth. By returning to that depth, observing surface disturbances without identification, and tending your inner landscape with wisdom and compassion, you discover an unwavering peace and become a source of that peace for the world. May this serenity guide your journey, illuminating each step with clarity and boundless compassion.